All right. Currently, the Secretary General serves 5 years for the United Nations. As you see right here, an election is due to be held in 2016 to select the ninth Secretary General of the United Nations to succeed Ban Ki-moon, whose term will conclude on 31st December 2016. So, Ban Ki, excuse me, Ban Ki-moon's term will end the last day of this year, and they will be holding elections for a new Secretary General. Now, there are many people who believe that the Antichrist will rule from the United Nations, and his power will be given to him by others, as the book of Revelation tells us, through the seat of the United Nations. Many people believe it is Barack Obama, and I have no reason to doubt that. There are reports about Barack Obama supposedly, allegedly pushing for this position. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and some of you may or may not know this. Again, right now, this position's term is 5 years. If we go to 147 billion, find the best UN leader, as you see right here. This is an official group. You know, they are official. This isn't some flim flam pop up group. This is legit. They are legit. But look what this says. Let's start right here. The 1 4 billion campaign has published a paper setting out the arguments for the UN Secretary General to stand for a single non-renewable term of office. The paper has been released ahead of a General Assembly debate on this proposal on 29 February. So 147 billion, they want a single non-renewable term of office. Ban Ki-moon, the person you see right here, this is his second term that he has served. They want one single non-renewable term. Let's go down. Let's get to the interesting part. Let's go right here. The paper sets out clear arguments for why a single non-renewable term of office is essential to securing the best possible UN Secretary General at the end of 2016. So they want the best possible candidate or the best possible person in this position of authority, because this position pretty much will rule and run the world. 1 4 billion stresses that the leader of the UN must be able to act decisively in moments of crisis rather than being beholden to the will of the most powerful members of the Secretary Council. A Secretary General who does not have to concern herself or himself with campaigning for re-election will have the political space to make critical and potentially life-saving decisions. So they want this single term so the person that is in this position can concentrate on their job and not worry about campaigning to get back in office. Let's go right here, next paragraph. A longer term of office would also give the next Secretary General an uninterrupted timeline to support the UN in its delivery of two major agreements that will shape international development for the next 15 years. Now listen to this. So they already know that they have this plan. They're saying that a longer term for the Secretary General, it would be uninterrupted to deliver what they already have planned. So what do they have planned? Let's continue reading right here. The Sustainable Development Goals, the New World Order Goals, the 2030 Agenda or Agenda 2030, and the New Climate Framework. So they already have this stuff in place of what they're going to do, but they want their person in a position to take care of business. In this way, a longer single term would strengthen the Secretary General's ability to fulfill his or her global responsibilities in a rapidly changing world. If you're not familiar with this right here, these Sustainable Development Goals, check out Agenda 2030. It pretty much is the outline of what they want to do with the New World Order. Let's go to the next paragraph. 1for7 billion also notes that reforming the Secretary General's term of office would not require amendment to the UN's Constitution, the Charter. There is clear precedent to show that the length of term is open to revision. Former Secretary General Trivey Lai was reappointed for 3, not 5 years, and U Thant was initially only appointed for a single year. So they're arguing that it has been changed before because it's regularly 5 years, but they're stating here that this person, Mr. Lai, was appointed for 3 years and U Thant was only appointed for a single year. With support for a single term building among UN member states, UN experts, and civil society, 1for7 billion welcomes a forthcoming General Assembly debate on this issue. Now, we just read they want to change it, but the interesting thing is they want to change it to 7 years. Yes, that is right. 7 years. A single term for 7 years. Now, some of you already realize the implications of that, and some of you may not. So let's make it clear. If they do it for 7 years, then that means that if the Antichrist rules from the seat of the UN, Secretary General take over the world, then they are changing it to 7 years to make way for the Antichrist. 7 years, single term. Remember Daniel's 70th week is 7 years, the time of Jacob's trouble, which is the same thing. It's 7 years total. So let's paint a picture. If Obama is, if Obama is the Antichrist and he is pushing for the Secretary General position, and they get this changed to 7 years, and Obama takes the position of Secretary General, they give it to him, with that 7-year term being implemented, then that tells us some things. Also, another possibility is they may bring in a person to start it off for the first 7 years, and then the Antichrist may come the next term, which would be 2022. So those are two scenarios, but we're not looking for 2022. We're looking for right now to see what's going on, because Jesus could come back before 2022, and we're praying and we're hoping that he does come back before then. You know, I'm thinking all of us are ready to get eternity, you know, on the road. We're ready for eternity. This is why it's so important for us to preach the gospel while we're here, because one, we may die or be taken out this world before the catching away occurs. And two, when it does happen, you know, that's a wrap. We're not going to be able to preach anymore because we're going to be gone. So they want to change this to one single term. They want to change it to 7 years. But let's go to this website. The Elders, independent global leaders working together for peace and human rights. This is another group that you can go check out. Very interesting name, the Elders. Wanted. Well, let's go back. You see it says 13 July 2016. Wanted, a strong UN leader and peacemaker. So they want somebody who's going to bring in peace, world peace. This is what they want. Lakhdar Brahimi and Mary Robinson. Let me highlight this. Lakhdar Brahimi and Mary Robinson call on the successful candidate for UN Secretary General to serve 1 7-year term to ensure their strength and independence, writing in an opinion piece published around the world. They also urge P5 members to recognize that merit must trump all other considerations. 7-year term, people. This shows you just how close we really are. Not only this, but everything that God has had me to show you with this ministry, with the CRISPR technology. I got a video coming out on that also, because they're starting to do clinical trials. If they're doing clinical trials, that means they are coming out publicly testing this CRISPR technology on people to change their DNA out in the open. If they're doing that, that tells us how close we are. If they want a 7-year term for the UN leader, that shows and tells us how close we are. And this person is going to be voted for coming up at the end of this year. So this whole year has been, you know, pretty interesting. And, you know, I don't expect anything less. But let's read this also, and then we'll close it out. We all have an interest in making sure the job of Secretary General of the United Nations goes to the best possible person, to the Antichrist. This means a Secretary General who is both truly independent and can work effectively with the big powers on a basis of mutual respect. For this reason, we believe she or he should only serve one term of 7 years, so that the bold leadership we seek is not inhibited by a desire for re-election to a second 5-year term, as has been the case hitherto. So even if the Antichrist doesn't come on the scene right away when this 7-year term is put into place by the UN, eventually we see that he's going to come. But we know that the time is now. We are in that window, and we need to be watching, waiting, looking for the Lord Jesus Christ, and also looking at the different things that are going on in the world, not to get caught up in them, but so we can know what time it is, so we can warn others, so we can warn our brothers and sisters, so we can warn the lost, so we can warn the lukewarm, so we can sound the alarm, so we can look up because our redemption draws nigh. But I just want to share this with you guys. I thought it was very interesting. I heard about it, and check it out for yourself. You know, I hope it gives you some things to think about. I hope it shows you how close that we truly are. This could be it. You know, the Antichrist could be coming on the scene when they vote for him at the end of this year. Is it Obama? Is it somebody else? Is Obama like the John the Baptist to the Antichrist? You know, we'll see. Regardless of who it is, we need to be watching. We need to be ready. God bless each and every one of you guys. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, truth isn't debated, it's declared.
Take emptiness away. You take emptiness away. You take emptiness away. Oh, you take emptiness away. You take emptiness away. You take